Hey, you guys. Welcome to the Dental Handoff. I'm Dr. Kelly Tanner again with you this week. And today, guess what? I don't have just one guest. I have two guests. I have Katrina Klein and the coach Abe 007, your wellness crew. I don't, it's funny when you kind of catch up in this way. You don't, because we always talk backstage, you guys. I don't know, you probably heard like speakers and podcast guests talk about that. But when you catch up before you come on the show, it's just, you really realize how centered your heart is on giving and loving who you're serving. And that's what I love about these two. They are my crew. They are my tribe. And so Katrina Klein, the ergo goddess of everything, of the whole entire universe and all eternal universes forever, the empress of all universes. Oh my Thank God. You for coming on again today.
You're welcome. My head's exploding right now.
I know, the room's not big enough. And Abe 007 wellness being to the all-knowing Yoda of how to fix mindset and get your butt off the couch, guy. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you for being on. All right. So we got a lot of fun topics to talk about today because we're all about wellness. Here we are in January. I know that a lot of you guys have set some good intentions. And a lot of us keep those, right? And I think for most of us, one of the most important parts of this to remember is that if you are making 1% difference in the direction that you want in that goal, that at the end of the year, you'll be 37% better. And that's just one thing. So it doesn't have to be this overnight success of how you just transformed overnight, because it doesn't really happen like that. So it's that small decision, the small transformable actions that's leading you in that path every single day. And so speaking of that, we were talking about dental professionals, how we are just tired of being sick and tired. And these two guests here are the resident experts on all of that, Katrina, with people who come to you. I know that people must just feel like they're desperate, right?
Yeah. I call it the gift of desperation. It's that I need 10 more years. I've got student loans to pay off. I've got a practice loan to pay off. My kid's going into college, or I'm facing surgery. I don't want to have to work real estate on the weekends. Like, what am I going to do? And even though we all know it, right? And it's not really a whole lot different from our fitness. We know how we got here, right? We know we weren't doing the thing. It's now I'm at a place where, oh my, either I'm being prescribed diabetic pills or I'm being told that I've got congestive heart failure or whatever your gift of desperation looks like. It comes to you when it comes to you. And then you say, okay, I need somebody. And that's when I get the phone call. Katrina, come help. Now, I believe this generation of people that are coming into the dental space now, they're graduating a lot of times with a lot more debt than they did before. And so they're really wanting to protect their investment. And I'm finding that this younger generation, this newer, and I say younger, meaning younger in the dental space generation, they're wanting to be proactive with their wellness, which just lights my fire because I want to help them do that. So yeah, we're here to help people not have to get to that place where they're thinking they have to get out of dentistry, because dentistry is cool. We like
dentistry is the best in the whole world. It's the best profession, I think.
Totally.
And I will stand by that until my last breath. I have a personal story with that where I thought my only option was surgery. I thought my only option was surgery. I couldn't feel my left arm, and it affected everything. And I realized that by those small actions that I wasn't even aware of until I took those steps towards that, like sitting in a ball chair to strengthen my core. I will only sit in a ball chair just to constantly strengthen my core. My nutrition that was nourishing my body, taking away some of those inflammatory responses. But it took me, as Coach Abe, you talked about in a previous episode, raising my hand to say, I acknowledge the fact that this is here, and I acknowledge that I can do better, but I'm not choosing that yet. That's not my only option. So Coach Abe, you guys are both like, physique people. You're like been in health fitness. You've been posing. You guys probably flex for how long every day in the mirror?
Not so much anymore.
Abe looks guilty.
I will tell you, posing is really hard. I am not a bodybuilder, and I'm going to tell you, I tried it one time. Like, oh, it can't be that hard. I tried the lat thing, and I was like, I started cramping up in places that I didn't know I had muscles. I was like, oh, my wife is, in the other room, like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like in the bathroom, like half naked, like cramping up, like, oh. And I'm like, no, this is not easy. It's not easy.
No, that's a whole workout all by itself.
Yeah, posing is no joke. They have like posing coaches.
Oh yeah,
it's crazy.
I don't pose.
So Abe, you're helping folks with those people who are tired and who need that reset and who are just burnt out, and they don't know where to start. Right? I mean, both of you guys help with that, but putting you guys in the lives that you're touching every day and your main audience and who you serve every day. Abe, I know that you're the motivator, right? You are the 007. Let's get up and let's do it.
Let's do it.
Is it always that easy for people though?
I'm going to say that it's never easy. Ever. It's not, life isn't easy. There's nothing about life that is easy. I think that's oftentimes what I have messages for people. Like when I train fitness, they look at me for some sort of sage advice that's going to make this easy for them. And my answer is always, it's not. It never will be. You will only get stronger. I will guarantee you it will never be easy. I will also guarantee you that if you do it correctly and you do it well day in and day out, you will get stronger. And sometimes that means you have to give yourself grace, right? Sometimes that's the biggest gift that you can give yourself is not success, but it's grace. Because that's what allows you to stay in without feeling blamed or less than or shameful or regretful. And so, I mean, I really think that's a big part of the message is it's not just getting off your butt. It's also being able to forgive yourself for not getting off your butt before now. And then also for all those days where they're not good days, is that we have some grace and forgiveness for ourselves so we can show up tomorrow.
I love that. You guys can see why I brought these two together. Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you hear it? Yes.
Yeah.
It's because Abe, you and I have talked about this before, and I think that you actually have a program on this that you provided as a lecture. You may have one called it's Unleashing Your Superhero, right? But it's about how people can become addicted to being unwell too. Like, what is still serving you about staying in that place of being unwell and about not changing? Because it's the mindset there.
Yeah. It's an escape, like all those unwell things that we do. Like, I know I shouldn't sit like this, but it's easier, and it's harder to do this. And so we are escaping the difficult things in life. It's hard to face that I failed. And it's a lot easier to just go eat French fries and have margaritas than to face that and come to terms with it and learn from it and, go through a process of forgiveness. And I think that is, one of the really big challenges that we all face. And even us in this little room right here. Okay. I will tell you, we still do it to ourselves. Shh, don't tell anybody. So don't think that, like if you're on the other side of the screen, oh, well, they never do it. No, it's part of our life too.
It's every day. Yeah.
Perfection is a myth. That is something, especially as someone who is a competitive bodybuilder and has done all the things, there's days when, I have all my list of excuses, right? And you just say, I'm making a choice today and that's not the best choice for me, but tomorrow I'm going to have it. And then tomorrow you show up because you have to, right? Yeah. And it's really about that and knowing that, yesterday I can't do anything about it, but today I'm going to serve me.
And I think that, every choice, even if you make the fry choice, eating the bag fries, right? Because you're taking kid tax, the bag fries. And the next choice is a different choice. There's no shame in being like, well, I ruined my whole day because I did this one bad thing, right? It's okay. No, that you're just one choice away from changing it in a different direction.
Yeah.
Something that my dad told me once, which still resonates with me to this day, is that the only people that like change are wet babies. Period. Right? That's it. We don't like change. So we like to take the path that's least resistance. That's human nature. Yeah. And so in my head, as I'm going through my day and I'm doing the thing, I always try to tell myself, do the hard thing. Whatever the hard thing is. If it means, taking not the escalator, the walking in the airport. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the moving sidewalk.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, the moving sidewalk, or you take
know it too well.
the ground, whatever. And so take that, and if I have an option to run on the concrete or run on dirt, I'm going to take the dirt. I'm going to take the harder thing because that harder thing is always going to give me the better benefit. The ROI is always better. And even if that means I'm sitting at a barbecue and I'm mid prep for a show, I'm going to have to do the hard thing because I got that goal in mind. And so what I tell my clients when I'm in coaching them, whether it's a fitness client or it's an ergonomics assessment where I'm working with people in their operatory, I'll tell them, I know it's going to take you a little longer to reset your posture, to put that chicken wing arm down or whatever the thing is. Do the harder thing because you got to reset that neuromuscular pattern in this particular case so that it becomes natural, because that's the way it's going to happen. Otherwise, it's just easier, like Abe was saying, it's just easier because
it's totally, and you don't even realize you're doing it. I mean, I already know the answer to this question. I bet that people say, Katrina, can you just be on a Zoom call with me all day to tell me when I'm making bad choices, like the posture police,
Every time. Can you just stay here? Could you just stand here and poke me every time I do something wrong? That's what I get the most of. I'm like, okay, so I have two hands. Unfortunately, no, I can't be here, but I will follow up with you in a month. And I give all kinds of, here's your action item list of things to do, focus on one thing at a time, because, Coach Abe, that you focus on one thing and you're going to master that a whole lot easier than if you focus on 47 different things. Right.
Absolutely.
So that's your thing. And I tell them, do this thing until you're great at it and then tackle the next beast. Yeah. And it seems to work pretty well for most of the people I work with. But that coming back to that human element, though, we're all going to fall off. We're all going to take that moment and immediately go, there goes my chicken wing. And then you forgive yourself because you did it, and then you put it back down. You just keep going. Yeah. Because you got to live in today and right now.
Living now. Yes, exactly. Yes. It's so crazy, watching people in like an athletic standpoint where it might be like a little competitive, sometimes they're like, well, I've got to do, I've got to keep my shoulders up. I've got to pull my elbow high. I've got to do this and this and this and this and this. And I'm like, okay, whoa. It's really noisy in the room right now.
In this room.
really noisy in this room right now. You need to do this empty. You need to do this present. Yeah. And if you're thinking about, boy, you're not present at all. You're not present at all. You literally just do one thing. Mm-hmm. And one thing this is a big cue I learned from a sports psychologist is, instead of walking into that moment with, I'm not going to, ... It's to walk into that moment with, I am going to focus and I am going to do this.
Yeah.
And people have a much better chance of being successful when they're present in the moment. They're thinking about one thing and they're thinking about it as it's happening.
Yeah.
It's not, I have to avoid this.
Yeah, a lot of people think manifesting is a little woo woo, and that's all great and everything when you say it that way, but the reality is if you have that self-fulfilling prophecy of, I'm not gonna, I can't, or whatever, then no, you can't. What is that guy?
Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. Henry Ford.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's true. And you have to believe that. I mean, that's one gift that I got from bodybuilding is I never believed for a hot minute that I could do what I saw those girls doing. And when I did it, when I just allowed myself to not think that, I just stayed in the moment, did my training, and my trainer just said, it doesn't matter what anybody else in this gym is doing. You do you do what you're doing, and you do it to the best of your ability, and you're going to get wherever you're going to go. And that took me on stage with trophies.
Yeah, and trusting that expert, because there are times where you need where you're going to get better results, that if you have someone there holding you accountable to yourself and for what you want. When I met with my personal trainer, when I met with my nutritionist the first time, what are your goals? What's your goal weight? I was like, I'm not focused on weight. Yeah. I want this feeling. I want this feeling. I want to look good on stage. I want to have my confidence back. I want that feeling, how I was before where I am now,
I like that.
And so it's not tied to a number for me. And with my personal trainer, Louisa, who my son just says, he makes fun of me. He's like, every time you come back from Louisa, you're like, oh, Louisa, broke my back, fused it back together and made me stronger today. I'm like, is that how I sound? But she'll say, okay, we're doing this. We're doing these many pikes today with this and do this on this less resistance. And I'm like, really? She goes, you can do it. I'm like, well, if you know that I can do it, I'm going to do it. And it's always pushing me to that last rep, right? Always knowing, because she knows from her expertise and her experience what we're capable of. And she can be there to reinforce she's just like, are you okay? You breathing? Are you going to throw up?
Right.
Those are like her questions.
Yeah. I
Do you have more energy? Well, at first it's, did you eat before you came today? And I'm like, I guessed it was leg day. That was yesterday. And then in middle of leg day, it's you always think you're ready for leg day. She goes, you never are. You never are.
My trainer used to tell me if I would say anything in the middle of my set, he'd say, you're wasting your oxygen. You're taking it away from your muscles and you're using it talking to me and I'm not listening to you. He'd say, I'm watching your body. Just breathe. Yeah. He's like, your muscles need oxygen. Quit depriving your muscles of oxygen. All business. He's like, we're friends between sets, babe.
Yeah. I like that. You're here for a reason. I'm going to hold you accountable. Well, when you're paying, here's the other part. When you're paying somebody to be that person for you, sometimes you need to be that person for you.
Right.
So you gotta take that. You got to receive that.
Right. Absolutely. Well, and he also said, this is my name. You're being trained by me. You're telling people that you're being trained by me. So this is my credibility. So you're getting results whether you want it or not.
Dang.
Oh,
this is what you signed up for with blood.
Yeah. There's a reason I have trophies. But he had a lot of words of wisdom, that he gave to me. And it was incredibly insightful to me when he would say, everything that you do is at the expense of something else, whether it be in the way that you eat, in the way that you exercise or don't, in the way that you show up mentally. Like if you come in here and you tell me that you're mentally deficient, that means we have to work that much harder to get to where you should be. Mm-hmm. And so he would say that. He's like, what did you spend your energy on? And he wasn't saying energy like just energy, but like mentally, physically, nutrition. Did you hydrate? Did you sleep? All the things. Did you eat? And it's true. And it's the same way with coaching. I go in there and I'm like, okay, what battles are we fighting today before I walked in the door? What's going on already? Because we have these predisposed things that have happened to us or that we're carrying with us. And this mentally, Abe, like there's these things and we have to come in there as the coach and the advisors and say, okay, here's what we're dealing with. And we don't want to just get you back to baseline. We want to get you better.
Yeah.
We want you to be prepared so we don't have to do these things again.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a challenging feat sometimes to be able to get someone to a place where they can look and say, okay, I recognize that this behavior wasn't supporting my desire.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I think we talked about this before, like you don't know what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times people walk in, and even if they do know, I think a lot of times there are things that we do wrong in our life. And if we really sat down and in a quiet state and gave ourselves space, we could appreciate the fact that we knew, but still, there are things that we don't know. And our clients, sometimes, it's like you have to give them the space to kind of go, okay, you realize you did this to yourself, and they kind of go, oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I did. You're right. Yeah. I'm like, okay, well, I guess we know we need to change then, right? And they're like, yep. Okay, let's go then. Let's do it.
Hey, when you're working, I'm sorry, Katrina, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say in ergonomics, it's a little bit different than fitness, only because it's universally accepted that we all just have poor posture. In case you notice, because anytime I talk to someone, they say, "Oh God, don't watch me. You can't watch me practice. Don't watch me." So it's so universally accepted in dentistry that we practice and we operate in poor posture that people aren't ashamed. That there's not a stigma behind it, really, where they're like, "Oh, I don't need your help. I'm great." Nobody says that because it's accepted. The problem is accepting change. So going in and working with someone and saying, okay, you have to put the headrest back. And they're like, oh, the patient's not going to like that. So I get a lot of pushback on the solution because we've been doing it how we've been doing it forever, right? It's, oh, this is how I do it. And as many times as I'll say, put that arm down, put that arm down, put that arm down, it keeps coming up. And they're like, but that's just how I do it.
Girl, you're, I mean, like that's the, what I do because I live in this. I've been in dentistry forever and ever. I'm married to a dentist, and dentistry is broken. It is unhealthy. Just as an industry, there's been so much pressure on performance, so much talking down to the profession by other medical professionals, like just even society. You watch a TV show or a movie, and like dentists are always, portrayed as this like, terrible, evil beast.
Psycho.
Yeah. Seriously. And but it's like there hasn't been a lot of work within the industry on being able to change some of these stigmas that you just kind of hit on. And I think that's one of the areas that, I see that I have a gift and I want to give, because there's some of that mindset right there of I don't want to change, or the patient isn't going to like that. It doesn't matter what it does to me. That's not important. It's like, yes, it is. Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. As a matter of fact, it is. And you know what? It's better for the patient if their headrest is back.
Yeah. Well, and something you said to me one time, it has stuck with me. Of all the conversations we've had, the one thing that has stuck with me is that we are so emotionally connected with our patient outcomes that we do things like say, it's okay to do this because it's just real quick.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And I try to really hammer in that, everything that we do in dentistry is just real quick.
It's just real quick.
It's just real quick. And so if everything is just real quick, and we're doing it because we want our patient to get the best result, we want our patient to be comfortable because we don't want that bad Google review. We want the patient to be happy and to come back. We want to get the best quality of work, because if for any reason, whether it's our fault or not, things aren't perfect, which is such a ridiculous standard to hold ourselves to that nobody else in medicine has to do, we are personally and emotionally accountable for it.
Yeah.
And how awful is that, right? So I love that. And thank you for sharing with me that little pearl, because that rings with me whenever I'm doing these assessments with doctors and their teams. Like, I know why you're doing it. It's not because you want to be a contortionist in the operatory, right? Okay, nobody likes that. It doesn't feel good. And they're telling me this doesn't feel good. This hurts me. I don't want to do this. but when they're in the moment, they're so emotionally tied to the perfection of their craft for this patient that they don't know how not to.
Yeah.
And they don't want to emotionally disconnect their quality of care to their health, their own health, and their ability to provide care. And I think that's the thing, is we have to learn how to provide care so that we can do it safely and have a good outcome.
It's interesting. You know, kind of talking about it kind of made me remind myself as a cue that I'll use sometimes in the gym is the only way for us to get better is not to do more. It's to do it better.
Yeah.
Like
form first.
Take the weight off the barbell and let's just try doing it correctly before we add the weight, you know? Yeah. So it's like that in many things in life. And I guess in ergonomics as well, you know, like okay, maybe we can't hit home run just yet, but let's just first work on getting those base hits.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's like a little charcuterie board is in my mind. That's how it is. It's like, okay, I'm going to take a little piece of this. Do I like that? Do I not? Okay. I'm going to try this one. Eventually you're going to get around to the whole board, but like, just start where you're at. And that's what we have to do anyway, right? Whether it's, you know, mentally, spiritually, physical, whatever your thing is, start where you're at and just work. Like you said, 1% better is 1% better.
Yeah.
I don't want to see anybody retire from disability. That's yucky.
Yeah. It becomes such ingrained habit. You know, I'm sitting here contrasting in my mind. It's like with fitness. I mean, mindset, sometimes you're taking on other people's beliefs, right? And you're living those in your life. And you're living throughout, and you don't even know why you believe what you believe sometimes. Ergonomics, you're doing things because that's the way you learned how to do it. I think a lot of times, or that became easy for you, it made your procedure faster and more efficient. And so I think it takes all of these things to understand and change our mindset for how we want to serve ourselves so we can serve, right? Because at the end of it all, if you're part of an office who doesn't care about that, you know, I think doctor has to embrace that they want that wellness for their team as well. You know, to bring in the coach, to hire this person, to order the equipment or the whatever it is that helps the person, the saddle chair, the whatever that is for you, the whatever. To invest in their team, and then to understand too with your own mindset that you're worthy of that investment to yourself long term. Because what are we here for? You know, we have to come back to why we started in this. And if we don't care for ourselves, we're not here to serve anybody else. We hear this all the time. Our cup has to be full. But where are you going to start in your journey? Where are you going to start? Where do you know that you could do just 1% better? Do you need help with that? You know, right now, Katrina, I know that you have a special in January going on for your live classes. You guys take advantage of her help. She's got online courses as well. I think you have a course that people can take to click on.
Yeah. I mean, it's a like an hour and 15 minutes of education. That's a webinar. It's for everybody, the whole team, right? Because I'm not leaving out the front office team. They have. Look, I started in the front office. That is not an easy job. Okay. That is a hard job with a lot of aches and pains. And so it addresses everyone. And then you have time for specific questions about, okay, I have this X going on and it's specific to my office. So you get me live in your office. You want to do it over maybe an extended lunch period? Great. I mean, I'm just trying to get this information out there so you can do it with your team and it's half off. So, I mean, there's a lot of people that want the ergonomic information. I've had doctors call and say, hey, you know, my staff I'm doing annual reviews and I ask them how I can help them do their job better, which by the way, if that's part of your review process, like just, I love you.
Yes.
But, you know, they're saying that people are asking for ergonomic help because they don't want to be in pain anymore. And so whether you have me come in person and deal with you, or you do the online thing, like whatever, just get help, right? If you're struggling with something, I always tell people, you know, if you are struggling with anesthetic, If you were struggling with your IA block or whatever, or you were struggling with a certain software, what would you do? You'd go get training. You'd get help.
Fair point. There you go. That's your go-to girl right there. Abe, I know that you are, making a difference every day in what it is you're doing through Insta, coaching folks. You're leading your own team as well. And he's got some exciting things coming up with his personal coaching in 2025 this year. So be on the lookout on his webpage, thecoachabe.com. Did you want to add anything else? Sorry, I'm a hype girl for you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I love that. Here's the deal, everybody. You got to start with why. You know what? I can fill a cup up and say, this is going to make you the best person in the whole wide world. But if it doesn't resonate with a why for you, then you're not going to take the steps necessary. And if you are really just going like, I don't know, I'm just not happy. And I know there's more out there for me. And your why is strong and you're ready. That's something I can work with. And I really encourage everybody to take some time before the 2025 gets too far along and spend some time and really try and piece together, like, what are your whys? Is it my kids? Is it my health? Is it the future that I want to provide? Is it something that I want to give to? Like, you've got to have strong whys, because when life gets tough, those are the things that we fall back on, and for good reason, because they're important to us. So spend some time, get those settled. And when you're ready, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. This has been so, you guys you can see why I brought these two powerhouses together. Thank you for your time and your gifts of what you know, and to inspire all of us. So you guys know, as always, go to the show notes. You can reach out to either one of these empresses and the emperor of the all things wellness. So don't be tired. Don't be sick and tired. Just start your year off right. Reach out. We're only a click away. And you guys always know that what I ask for the favor every time, every week. 5 stars. 5 stars for Dental Handoff on Apple Podcasts. Come on, Coach, give me 5. He gave me 10. That's the thing. You gave me fireworks. 5 stars. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you get to see the lovely faces of the guests. And go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. Just press it so it shares it with all the folks who may enjoy the show, and then like this episode as well. Thank you for all that you do for our community to serve others. We will see you again next time. See you later, guys.